morning up at the building site. There is a flurry of activity up here this morning. My dirt contractor is here. He's digging the hole for the office on the building, and he is digging the hole for the cistern. The cistern is like a spare water supply, basically. So if something happens and we have well problems, our generator will run our pump, but if you don't have any water, you're in trouble. So we're gonna store water. We're gonna have a concrete tank that we're gonna pump water in, and then it'll have a pump pumping it out to the building. And if anything goes south, we'll have about a day's supply of water.
So while I'm up here, I might as well give you guys an update. So they ended up pouring the rest of the feeder pads. That room's got their feeder pads poured. This room's got its feeder pads poured. They also went ahead and the dirt guys came and they dug out the workroom, and they also dug out the cistern. And now they're setting forms around the workroom, and they're setting forms around the cistern to pour concrete around it. That way it's all set and ready to go. So this will be the chute where the pigs come in and go out, and then over here on the left side we'll have a wall dividing the chute from the workroom, and then on this left side that's where the workroom will be. And the steps to get in the workroom will be over in that left corner over there. Finally over here, when they get around to it, I think they're going to go ahead and pour the cistern and the workroom first, but when they get that poured, then I think they're going to come over here and they're going to pour the center wall that's all formed up and ready to go for concrete. You want to talk about hard work. Doing what these guys do every single day is the hardest work that you can possibly do on this planet. Pouring concrete, setting forms. And I appreciate everything they've done for us. They got balls for doing that every day. You know, it takes a strong person to do that, and credit to them, because I don't know if I'd be able to do it. So while all that work's happening up at the building, we're gonna get ready for David to come over here and start picking some corn. We gotta back this auger up to this bin because we didn't have any room left in this bin. So last night we sold a couple loads of beans so we could make room for the wagons that are full of beans. We're gonna load those wagons up, and this bean bin will be completely full, and soybeans 2020 is done. Luckily, we've only sheared the bolt once this harvest. That's a miracle. There's nothing worse than shearing the bolt, because then it stops everything and you gotta replace it, and it just isn't fun. So fingers crossed you don't shear any more bolts for full harvest. So I'm gonna take this up to the north cornfield where Dave's gonna be picking. He ain't gonna be coming for another 2 hours, but you can never be too prepared. Anyone coming, looking both ways. If they aren't, we're hitting it. Pull nice and easy. Oh, look at that. That is what you want right there. That, when it slides out of there, just buttery, nice and smooth like. Dad said he was gonna come and get me, but it doesn't seem like he's heading up here. So maybe he's just unloading the Parker, which I'm fine with, because I don't really enjoy unloading those Parker wagons all too much. So if he wants to unload those, more power to him. Took you long enough.
What? It did not.
Keep her coming. Really like to get rid of that barn. So it's just out of the way. It's a pile of junk. All in due time. All in due time. Come on, keep her going. Up a little bit. Up, down a little bit. A little more, a little more, a little more. Perfect. Nice going, Slim Shady.
I decided it wasn't that important to get the auger this way. Everybody can just drive around. I'm tired of fighting that shed. I told him we should just tear it down. We're gonna tear it down and put a wet bin there so we can pick a little longer.
Well, looks like it's go time. He loaded up the first wagon. I'm gonna go unload it, and we're gonna do that probably 10 to 15 times today. We're gonna fill up that drying bin up to 6,000 bushels again, and we'll get a good chunk of corn done, and we'll get that much closer to the end. Coming up here, you'll see that I don't know if I was tired or what, but I cockeyed the out of this wagon. It is crooked as hell. I won't make the same mistake twice. I'll make sure that this wagon's straight. David's gonna have to do a little bit of maneuvering here to get it, but he's a pro. He's got this. He's done this plenty of times. It's not the only time that I've ever cockeyed something, so he's got it in the bag.
How's it going? Lots of activity. Always lots of activity. We're combining corn. Sawyer's unloading. Pump truck will be here about 2 o'clock today to pour the walls of the office and the cistern. I'm doing afternoon chores up here. There's a little bit of a hack in here. And this is the time of year. Pigs, they like their environment kind of like you like your house. They like it the same temperature, the same humidity, pretty much all the time. When we have these days that it gets up to 80, and then the nights get down to 45 or 50, they don't like that, because even though we control the temperature in here as best we can, they still feel that switch. The seasons change. That's typically when pigs get the flu. Now, they all feel pretty good other than that hack, so we're not going to put them on any medication. There really isn't anything you can do for them anyway. It's just like when you get the cold, everybody's still eating good and drinking good, so if this is as bad as it gets, we'll be in good shape.
I just got off the phone with David, and the corn is testing 15 to 17% moisture. We're gonna have to turn down the transfer temperature because the drying bin that we have set up, it transfers our corn over to our big bin at a certain moisture level. Usually we transfer it over at like 17%. When it transfers over there and then it cools down, it'll be about 14.5% moisture, which is perfect. That is what you want when you go to sell your corn, because you won't get docked for it. But since it's coming out of the field right at 17%, you know, the stuff that we put into the bin today, we're probably just gonna transfer right over and we won't have to do much drying at all. Okay, so I'm gonna go over here to this bin fan. I'm gonna turn this on, and this will be the second one that we have on. We got 2 fans running in this drying bin instead of 4. Most of the corn will probably just transfer right from the auger into the bin, into that big bin, because it doesn't need much drying at all. We're getting there. Oh, and one thing I should mention about those bin fans is you want to always have an even number of fans running, because if you only have 1 fan running, that means that fan is either on the left side or the right side. Let's say you have 1 running on the right side, the corn that's on the right side is going to get way more dry than on the left side. So you always want to have, you know, 2 or 4 fans running. So I got away from unloading wagons really quick. I came up here to give you guys a quick update. They are pouring the center wall of the building right now, so they're gonna pour the center wall, let it dry. And also, if you look behind me, they got all the forms set for the workroom and the cistern from this morning. They got them all set. You saw what it looked like this morning. This is what it looks like now. These guys have been getting after it all day long. They deserve more beer. If I could go buy 4 cases of beer again, give it to them, I would, but I'm not quite 21 yet, so I can't. Maybe we can convince Tork to give them beer again. We are getting closer to the end of the day. We're actually able to pick more today, because since the corn was so low in moisture, most of the corn was just transferring right over to the big bin. We're gonna end up finishing around 8,000 bushels picked today. Getting closer, getting closer.
Harvest update. We were doing really well. My drying bin is about full. Corn was so dry it was down below 18, and it was just transferring constantly. We were kind of at an equilibrium almost. I thought we were going to be able to run till maybe 11 o'clock, and all at once I came around with a load. My fancy CompuDry was conked out. As you can see, I don't have any bin light. If you can hear, you don't have any fans. And my control is dead. So after much messing around and fumbling around and cursing, and I might have thrown something, I realized that my grain spreader worked, but my bin light doesn't work. So that tells me that one of my legs of power, my 220 coming over from my main, I've only got 110 volts, and that will run the bin spreader, but it won't run much else. And that control box runs on 12 volts, so there's a transformer that drops 110 volts down to 12 volt. That transformer might be bad, but I think it is that leg coming over from the main. And I got a hold of my electrician. He wasn't real fired up about coming out tonight and fumbling around in the dark, and I can't say as I blame him. So he's gonna be here first thing in the morning, and we'll try to get her going. If all else fails, we might just have to get in the bush light and lay around and sleep all day like Duke. Probably not. There'll be pig work to do. But anyway, we're done for tonight. We might be done for a little while tomorrow. So have a good night.